Hi everyone, welcome to Enterprise Agility Everywhere conference and welcome to this product overview from SwiftKanban, brought to you by Digite, which has been in the business of helping remote and distributed teams since 2002. Our key strengths and use cases for SwiftKanban include some of the ones that are highlighted here. So let's take a look at each of these a little bit. From a visualization and modeling capability, SwiftKanban has some powerful capability for modeling your Kanban boards. It supports a multi-lane board design capability. At the top of the board, you have a swim lane, and each swim lane can have its own workflow. And the board supports multiple swim lanes, as you can see here, and each swim lane can have its own workflow depending on the context of the work that is being managed here. Also, as you will notice, each swim lane's workflow can be a hierarchical workflow. So you can see that a workflow stage can have its own substages, and each substage can be further divided into multiple substages. So you can have a hierarchical workflow based on the nature of your own work that's being done. We provide a variety of visual alerts for effective management of your work. Firstly, as you'd expect, we provide WIP limit violation alerts. We highlight blockers when cards get blocked. We provide for column level policies at each column, and you can define your own policy that can be displayed on the Kanban board. A key feature that we provide is the ability for you to set up cycle time thresholds that you can set up for crucial workflow stages of your overall value stream, overall workflow. And what SwiftKanban does is helps you identify cards that are at danger of getting delayed or cards that may already be delayed based on the two thresholds that you set up for each column. And each column can have its own threshold. So therefore, depending on the nature of the column and depending on the time that it takes for cards to traverse these columns, these threshold values can vary. Finally, at the card level, we provide a number of different alerts for you to be able to manage what's going on with the work on those cards. Our backlog management capabilities are really popular with our customers. We provide two types of backlog management. Firstly, of course, using Upstream Kanban and the principles of Upstream Kanban, you can manage a backlog very effectively. In addition to having a altogether separate board for managing your upstream processes like we do, you can also designate specific columns of your Kanban swim lane as upstream columns. So you can define, for example, here you can see the backlog, prioritize, prototype, and finalize as upstream columns. And as long as cards remain here, the time in the columns is tracked as upstream time. And if you discard a card during this time, it is treated towards the discarded set of work. Anything that is discarded after this is treated as an aborted work. So you can do abort and discard analysis based on the definition of these upstream Kanban columns. And that analysis then becomes available in terms of these graphic charts that you can see here. You can also use an alternative method, which is the story mapping method, which is a very new feature. So you can define, as you'd expect in a story map, a hierarchy of cards that you're using to track your overall definition of the work that's got to be done for an application. You can start off by high level cards like a theme or an epic. You can define lower level cards like epics or features and assign them or identify them against specific personas. And then of course you can break them down into user stories. These user stories can then be assigned to specific releases and sprints, as you can see here. And once these have been assigned to these sprints and releases, they then appear against your release plan and sprint plan within your workspace, so that then they can be used and executed on your Kanban board using your regular Kanban board features. So either using the story map feature or using the upstream Kanban capabilities, you can manage your backlog more effectively and make sure that the team has the right things available to them at the right time at the right level of detail. Of course, Kanban is all about managing a work very collaboratively, and we provide a number of features to help your teams collaborate better. You can manage your daily standards more effectively using our daily activity feature. This by default shows you all the cards that have been updated in the last 24 hours. It highlights those cards on the board, as you can see, as well as highlight them on the panel on the right hand side. And you can use this capability not only to look at the last 24 hours, but also for the last 15 days. And you can look at both active cards as well as cards that may have been inactive and may need your attention during the same time period. We also can define dependencies using our dependency board capability for dependencies that you might have within your team or across multiple teams, which may be within the same board or across multiple boards. And finally, you can do much more powerful retrospectives using the board playback feature that you can see right here. The board playback feature allows you to play back the board for any particular time period, such as a particular month or a quarter, or for a particular sprint or a release. As you see the board multiple times, you start to observe patterns of your own team's work in terms of which columns of your workflow do cards tend to get blocked up more often, which parts of your board might see more rework happening, and so on and so forth. Once you do this multiple times, you will start to notice that your team has certain patterns of work, and because of those patterns of work, there might be certain bottlenecks that you might face, and it becomes a great way to have conversations with the team to understand how to resolve those bottlenecks. We provide some powerful analytics out of the box as part of our SwiftKanban application itself. I'm just going to quickly go through some of these here. So this is a CFD, which is fairly standard, but what we provide is the additional capability for you to forecast what is the amount of time it will take for you to complete your backlog if you continue to work at the same level of throughput. We have, of course, the throughput or the velocity chart that tells you how your teams have delivered over a certain amount of time or across several releases and sprints. We have a new lead time distribution chart that helps you better understand your overall capability and have realistic SLAs set up for committing to your customers. The control chart helps you understand what your overall distribution of cycle time is. The flow efficiency is very popular, tells you how much wait stages are built into your system. The blocker analysis is an interesting and unique feature that we provide that helps you understand what are the reasons why your work gets blocked and how you can help to eliminate those blockers. If you want to dive deeper into your team's performance, you can use the Swift ESP module, which provides you a variety of different analysis of your team's capabilities and the demand on your team. The demand picture shows you what is the overall load that your team is seeing on a regular basis, and this shows you the inflow of demand or inflow of work into your system. And you can then look at the capability chart to see how your teams have performed and what is the capability of the team to deliver work on a regular basis. And you can compare the two to see how balanced they are against each other. You can use our predictive forecasting capability, which is calculated using Monte Carlo simulation. You can use this to understand what kind of delivery capability you have with different levels of confidence and set more realistic expectations with your customers. And of course, you can also use your cost of delay capabilities that SwiftKanban and SwiftESP provide in order for you to really understand how much time a particular release or sprint might take based on the scope of that release or sprint. Finally, our enterprise portfolio Kanban capability really help you scale agility and Kanban to the enterprise. We have several interesting features that help you really define and manage a portfolio really well. We have a portfolio lane capability that helps you automatically move parent cards based on the progress of the child cards. So depending on the kind of hierarchy that you set up, whether it is portfolio, program, project, or epic feature user stories, you can automatically see the progress of these on this portfolio lane based on the performance of the underlying child cards. You can look at the full hierarchy view using the hierarchy capability, and you can have these hierarchies exist across multiple boards or within the same board. And at a detailed level, it gives you an exact picture of what is the status of this hierarchy, which cards have got completed, which cards are not yet complete, and therefore give you an overall percentage progress of the work that is reflected at the topmost level of the hierarchy. Finally, we integrate seamlessly with over 50 plus tools using SwiftSync, our integration product. And as you can see here, we integrate with some of the most popular tools like Jira, TFS, Rally, ServiceNow, version 1, etc., and nearly 50 plus tools. So with that, I'd like to just make a special offer. If you'd like to give SwiftKanban a try, we are offering these specific offers. Firstly, we are making it free for use till August 31st. So we're providing a 3-month free trial. If you need a further extension to your free trial, just let us know. However, if you do buy SwiftKanban by June 30th, we're giving an additional 10% off for the first year subscription to your product. And all you need to do is use the EAE Swift 2020 when signing up for your free trial, and you'd be able to use this special discount for when you buy SwiftKanban. Thank you very much, and I'll be here for questions from your side.